Hi, everyone. I am with CJ Boyd and I am Andra Annette, and welcome to A Life of the Entrepreneur. So, CJ and myself feel that people aren't always being so honest about what the life really is. And it has people feeling discontent or like they're doing something wrong. So, we want to share real stories about what it's really like to be an entrepreneur. So, meet CJ Boyd. Hey, CJ,
Hello.
how you doing?
I'm awesome. How about you?
Good. So you and I, we talk about this a lot. We hear people out there, and I know that it's caused some waves in both your journey and my journey, because we, as people, always feel like we're not enough or we're doing something wrong, and we live in those old stories, and we talk about old stories a lot. So if you could say something to somebody on their journey as an entrepreneur, what would you say to them?
I think twofold. One would be never compare yourself to anybody else because I I liken it to smoke and mirrors. A lot of the people that you see out there on Facebook, Instagram, they're, airbrushed and they look all amazing and they're going on these trips and they say they have all this money, and I honestly believe that it's like smoke and mirrors. People put out there what they want other people to see to get people to gravitate to them. So never compare where you are to anybody else's, because honestly, I'm going to say probably 80% of the people that you meet outside of social media are not truly going to present themselves what you see on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And the other thing is to like go easy on yourself. I mean, I know for myself, I'm constantly like, oh, but I should have done this or I should have jumped into that at this time. And I second guess myself when in reality, it's like every day when you wake up, take a deep breath, go, okay, what am I going to do today? And just be in integrity with what your core values are and what you really feel is your value, that your impact and you're going to serve the world. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. It's kind of, you got to have your blinders on and go for what your goals and your dreams are. But it be integrity with that. And it can't be on a selfish level of, oh, I'm going to go for my dreams and goals. And, who I don't care who I smash under my heels on the way for me running for the gold. It's about being integrity and being a good person and knowing that what your mission and your service is going to impact people because you're a genuine person. You genuinely want to help people. You want to make an impact. It's not just about you.
I really like that you said that. So, I'm a big fan of Mary Morrissey. So I love her and I listen to her a lot. And she says that money is really only good for two things: so that we can be comfortable enough to share our true gifts with the world. So, um, so I don't think I'm saying that right either. Sorry, Mary, but it's something like that. But so we can be comfortable enough to be creative enough to give our true gifts to the world. That's how she says it. So I think that what you said is so poignant today, because you do see so many people out there talking about $100,000 months, and I'm not saying there aren't a few. Like, I mean, I'm sure Tony Robinson's is really having that day, but so many more aren't. And they're making it sound very easy, and people are jumping into businesses with no business sense and no marketing capabilities whatsoever, and thinking that they can do it too. And I think that's setting a very bad precedent. Some people are quitting their jobs and going online and saying, I'm going to do this. And unfortunately, it's just not so, because I was talking to another nurse the other day, and she's struggling with the online, and I'm a professional too. So you can be exceptional and be an expert in your field and not do well online. I spoke to a woman who's a doctor, and she spoke of bankruptcy and having a really hard time over like a 30-year period, and she's still not where she wants to be. So um you have to be good at marketing. It's not necessarily being good at what you do that
Right.
matters. You have to be good at marketing what you do. Would you agree with that?
I agree. And I think it's a skill set that people have to learn. All those people out there saying, oh, I can teach you how to scale 10, 20, 30K months. Most people are, they see that and they're thinking, oh, the gold at the end of the rainbow, when in reality, yes, sometimes it happens really quickly for certain people, but they have life skills, they have marketing backgrounds, they have, ad backgrounds, that type of thing. They have those already, that foundation already laid. But for most of us, it's a learning curve. So you have to come in with your eyes open and be realistic. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. And if it does, kudos to you. Great. Celebrate. That's awesome. But in reality, it takes, us working on those limiting beliefs, working on honing the skills. I mean, people go to a college, to get a degree in college for a minimum of 4 years. They learn a skill for their lifetime in 4 years' time. So what makes somebody think they can come in and, 10 days be learned a skill that's going to last them a lifetime? It doesn't work that way. And I'm all for people coming in and being laser focused and saying, yes, I want to do it, and I'm jumping in with both feet. But you need to be realistic about the number of people that come into the online space and actually make it big, because less than 1% of the people that are influencers and have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, those people don't normally monetize what they're doing. They are people that come from money, or they've already made money in some other form, in some other way, that they have all those followers. They didn't make the money online in most cases. So I just want people to be realistic. It's good to have big, hairy, audacious goals and dreams, but it's good to be realistic and know that there's a learning curve involved, as with anything. People don't jump on a bike and they automatically can ride the bike, the next two pedals. They have to be realistic about how long it's going to take, and investing the time and money most times to be in that space where you can do something that's going to really make a lot of change and impact. It's going to take time. And I don't think most people are in desperation. So they're desperate that they need that money. So they jump in, sometimes giving the last dollar to their name with that hope and dream of making it big, when in reality, invest the time in yourself to build your self-confidence first, to build those skills first, and then know that the money will come as long as you learn the skills that are going to bring you the money and produce the incomes.
I like that you said that, because this is not for the faint at heart. It's it's really not. And there's a big learning curve about yourself, getting to know
Yeah.
yourself, and how much you can really put into this and what it really takes, and if you can withstand it for the long haul. Not everybody can. There's a lot of people that come online and start a business and quit 2 years into it or 3 years into it. So you have to really have an idea of what your dream is. It can't be just, a pansy ass dream that, it has to be something that's really heart centered, that you've always wanted to do, and you're willing to fight for, because you will be fighting for that every day with yourself. You'll be waking up and saying, why am I doing this?
Exactly.
And you have to have a really good answer for that to keep going on most days, because
And
there's a lot of stuff that comes up. That fear of, I'm not getting where I want to be. And when you see you're not actually connecting with your audience and your sales, and then there's that whole other area in the market that I just want to touch on. There's so many people telling you how to be you, and that really makes you second guess who you are. Like, well, if you market to everybody, you'll never help anyone. So there's a lot of that out there too, and it really makes you start saying, you know, am I me? Is it me that's showing up, or am I listening to Mary Jo and Bobby Sue? Because
yeah,
you have so many voices coming at you and trying to sell you their products and get you in their programs. And so like you said before, you just have to have that tunnel vision and stay focused and really be true to yourself and what's important to you.
absolutely. I think, as a side note too, your vision and your goal cannot be just about money. Because if you're chasing the dollar, you're not going to be really invested in it for the long haul. You're going to get very frustrated. You're going to get very annoyed, and you're going to want to throw in the towel so much quicker, because again, it's a learning curve and it's a journey. What's that saying? It's about the
The
race.
destination. The journey,
Yeah,
not the
the
destination.
journey, not the destination. Right. So, I mean, for me, for me, as people in my online space and they're making all these big amounts of money, and I know that they are because I've met them and I know them personally, so I know that they're really doing the deal. But it's like they didn't just get there overnight. It took them having that focus of what they wanted, but it was never about making the 10K, 20K, $100,000 months. It was never about that. It was like, how many people can I help get to their goals? How many people can I impact to, help their health? Like what you're doing, Andra. Yes, you want to make the money, but it's not about the money for you. It's about literally how many people can I help impact their health? And that's what it needs to be. I mean, most people don't see that. It's like, get out of your own head because it's not about you. When you stop thinking it's all about me or what's in it for me, and most of the people that you come across on online and you slide into your DMs and they're pitching you, they want you to be on their thing. It's about, in their head, it's about, okay, how much money am I going to make off her? Oh wow, she's got a lot of followers, so how many dollars and cents can I get? And they're asking what's in it for me, when in reality we need to be sitting with our soul and going, what's in it for everybody who comes into contact with me? What's in it for everybody who I have a conversation with? How can I serve them, impact them, and what are they going to get? What value are they going to get from me? Because that's when things really start changing. That's when things really start cracking open, when they realize she's not in it for herself. Holy shit, she really cares about my feelings and my thoughts and my ideals and my goals. And so your big reason why you do anything and why you're in the online space cannot be solely about the dollar amount in your bank account, first and foremost. And I get really frustrated with people who that's what it's about. And you can tell, you can just feel that energy oozing
You
from them.
can,
Have a
you can.
conversation with them.
But I want to share something with you on a personal note and why that is so true. I want people to really hear this. So I was online a really long time. I came out during COVID and I created all these products and I was just giving them away. And somebody, a business person, said to me, "But you're not making any money." And I said, "But I didn't start it for that. The people couldn't get into a nurse." But I created everything from a $7 product to a $3,000 product. I wanted everybody to be able to afford healthcare, right? But everybody started telling me, "Well, you're not making money. You got to charge for this, and you got to do this, and you got to do that." And I had all these people in my head, and I felt like I had let myself down. Well, yeah, I guess I'm not really charging for anybody. It's really not a business if I'm not collecting money. And I started feeling like this resentment inside because they had put all that in my head. And I started showing up like Nurse Ratched, you know? And hello, I'm here to give you a service. And like, I was like a totally different person. And then I heard people saying, "You can't talk about everything," but I am all health. So you only got to talk about one thing. I said, "Okay, I'll focus on gut health because that really is everything." So I went through all these stages and I said, "Hell with this shit. I just got to show up as me because none of it aligns with who I was."
Right.
And I could feel like my skin crawling every time I went to turn on the record to go online. I was like, oh, you know. So as soon as I just stopped listening and really tuning in to what was important to me and why I started this in the first place, everything kind of clicked for me. You know, I don't want to tell you that I started making all these amazing sales and all that other stuff because that's still really not why I'm out here. And I do help a lot of people at minimal cost, if anything. But so I won't be rich tomorrow, but I love what I do again, and for me, that is my dream. I
Right.
started in nursing because I wanted to do something I loved every day. And almost 40 years later in healthcare, I still love what I do. So that says
and
something.
that's and that's evident in every conversation that you have. Anybody who's ever had a conversation with you, it's evident that you love people and that you love what you do, and you have this wealth of knowledge that you just want to get everybody on board and to have that knowing within themselves that they can change their health. And it's not about the money for you, but it's about the value of what you have to share with people, that you can literally change their lives, and in some cases you can save people's lives by helping them change the way that they eat, the habits they have. And it's got to be a fine line. yeah, you're not going to be a millionaire overnight, but your value is going to come. People are going to realize the wealth that's in the value that you're giving them, and then the money's going to come. And I think a lot of people miss that, where they have it turned around, where they're like, I want the money first, and then, oh yeah, I'll try to provide you with value that comes up to that dollar amount, where you're providing a value that you can't put a price tag on, and then the money will come. That's in my head, that's and in my heart, that's what I see when I see you. You're providing all this wealth of value, and the money will eventually come.
Well, thank you for that. But I want to ask you something on a personal note. I'm on the other side of that. So people see, they see coach in there because I coach people. I'm still a mentor, even though I have those degrees. And I'm like a target online. It's like everybody's in my inbox trying to sell me something. And they don't say hello. They don't try to get to know me. They go right to, this is my product. This is how I can help you. And you'll want to hop on a call. So you're in this space. How does that make you feel? Because I'm like taken back. Like, where's the value in this?
Okay, for so initially it's kind of you're triggered and you're like, how the can you know what I want when you've never had a conversation with me? How can you know what my business needs when you don't know what my business is? Because you can look all over my page, and if unless you got a few lives or somewhere in my content that I've said what my business is, you don't really know. My business is my brand. I'm not out there toting a product here, there, and everywhere. And so first I used to get really triggered by that and be like, okay, delete, block, I don't know. And now it's like, okay. And then the second part is like, okay, well, that's like asking me to have sex with you without buying me dinner first. Come on. If you want something that's valuable to me, then you have to give me a little bit of, your attention and find out who I really am at the core level, what it is that I'm trying to, do through my business in order for you to be able to tell me that you have something that can help me or not. And so when you start getting more and more in your posture of knowing that you are doing what you're doing for the right reasons, and you're doing it for your core, your core values, and that you want to really help people, it's one of those things where you kind of flip it and you're like, okay, this person doesn't really know about marketing and building the rapport and having a conversation. This person is just in it for the dollars and cents. They see, okay, I got to make 10 conversations today. If I have 10 conversations, through the DM, maybe one or two people I'll be lucky enough that they'll be desperate and they'll get on a call with me. And then if I can really talk a good game, then maybe at least one of those two people will say, yeah, I'll give you my last $5. It really frustrates me when people come sliding into the DMs doing that and pitching you right away, because first and foremost, you're a human being. You're not a robot. You don't just want somebody going, okay, here, it's a transaction. I want your money. I want the human give and take. I want your attention, and I'll give you my undivided attention. And then when I figure out, wow, maybe that's something I didn't think about. Maybe she could help me in that way, shape, or form. Then maybe I'll give you my money. But it really frustrates me when people do that, because they're not really in it for the right reason. And I don't want to work with anybody in my business. And I'm certainly not going to give somebody my money that is all about the money and they just want the money, because I know in my head that 9 chances out of 10, if I give them my money, I'm not going to get what they're telling me that I'm going to get back from them.
Absolutely. But I like to look at that as a situation where they're actually giving me permission to allow them to see how they how they sound. So
Yeah,
that's like giving me permission to tell you what I'm offering.
right.
So do you want to get on this call? No, but I could save your life, and here's how.
That's
You want to
awesome.
get on, do you want to get on a call? So my friend Morris Grands, he's a marketer, and he did this whole thing. And of course he sends me everything he does. And he was saying that people that are always in your inbox or in your email, that's them giving you permission to market back to them. He said, so send their emails back. He said, because if they can send it to you. So he said, put them on the list. And I said, I'm going to use that. So sometimes I do flip it. Most of the times I just tell them to bug off. But
That's a good way to look at it, though, because if they have came to you in your DM, yeah, it is a good way to look at this invitation for you to share what you have with them, because who knows, they may be, you know, pitching you something, but they may have went to bed last night sobbing hysterically about how horribly, you know, their gut health
They're
is,
in
and
pain
they
and
yeah,
they couldn't
and they have no
sleep.
idea.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So
That's a
it's a
good way
good
to flip it.
so the next way to turn the stages. So sometimes things present itself in a different way, but you could be the human person, you know, and turn it around that way too. That's what I
Yeah.
try to do, because it used to really, really get under my skin. And I had to ask myself why it was creating
Why?
that. Why is it making me feel like that? Because I don't actively, and back then I wasn't actively asking anybody for a sale. But I said there's got to be a place between here and there that I'd be okay with. I said this is definitely not okay, and this is definitely not okay. You know,
Exactly.
so I started using them as my practice patients. I said
That's
this is
awesome.
going to do something, right? So as you're out here, you live and you learn. So what I want this show to be about, because I think you have so much insight, and I see how much that you put out there every day. And 9 out of 10% of this, you know, or 90 out of 100% of this, if not higher, is mindset. So
Absolutely.
so I think that we can really help a lot of people with this, because mindset is key in anything that you do. And I think for two people who've been out there a while, we can teach you a few tricks. So we want to help you on your journey. And that's what this show is really going to be about. And we might bring in guests and talk to them, but I think it's going to be me and CJ for a while, because we've been through a lot out here. We want to share that with you. We want to give you that value, because so many people out there are making this sound really easy, and it's really not. And you really, really have to be committed to yourself, committed to your dream, and committed to your success. You know, it's just as easy to succeed as it is to fail. It's where you put your attention. If you're always thinking about that failure, then it's harder to reach and see that success. So you just got to change your thinking around, and it's not always easy.
No. And I think the thing that lands for me is that, you know, people are like, oh, I worked on my mindset. I did a EFT tapping, I'm cured. Or I did a breathwork session. Oh, I'm good to go. I undercover, you know, I excavated that limiting belief, and now I'm good to go. I'm game over. I'm healed. I'm fixed. That's bullshit. You continually, it's a choice every single day that you wake up. You're like, okay, how can I grow today? How can I expand today? Yes, I know that I, you know, worked on this yesterday, but you know what? 2 weeks from now, that same thing might crop up in a different way. And so it's really a choice of how bad do you want to get where you want to go, that are you willing to put in the work and do all the deep downing nitty gritty to be able to get yourself to the point where you can actually do the thing that you really want to do. So mindset is, it can make you or break you.
And it's a continual process, you know. I didn't come from the best background, and I didn't go from that to where I am today overnight. Nobody
No.
does. But some of those stories are still there, and you don't know until somebody triggers you, and then you have to look at yourself. So you always got to do that inner work. It doesn't
Yep.
happen overnight. And every new thing that you encounter, it kind of comes up, because that fear is always going to be there anytime there's something new. And it's okay to have that fear. You just have to be able to walk into it instead of running. You know, so that, because a lot of times that's what we want to do. We want to run, you know,
Yep.
fire, oh, hot, you know. But
Yep.
you have to kind of run into those flames and say, okay, this is what I want. This is, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it, you know.
Yeah. Yep. It's being committed to you wanting to be a better person than you were yesterday. Like you said, most of us run from fire when in reality we need to like go toward the flame, because when you get really in there, it's going to make you come up with the ideas and the tools and the skills to really hone in on what's causing that fire, to be able to have that little bit of grit that's going to help you extinguish that and then move forward and move through it.
I love that. So we're going to end on that note. So this has been Andra and CJ, The Life of an Entrepreneur. We hope you'll watch, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.